The Retroid Pocket 4 Pro has been my go-to retro handheld for the past month or so. Now, if you're at all familiar with my review videos, you know that I like to do a 100 or more hour gameplay review video, which basically means that I actually game on the device for 100 or more hours prior to giving my review on it. This is my way of simulating what it's actually like to own the device and use it on a daily basis. And you learn a lot about a device after playing on it for 100 hours. Anyway, today's video is not my in-depth review on the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro. That's going to come out later. But rather, this video is about my experience playing GameCube specifically on the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro. The GameCube is a particularly special system to me. You see, growing up, I didn't own any home consoles, aside from an NES, which my dad bought for me years after it came out, and not really sure where he got it from, but I know I had it in my house. But I didn't own an N64, an SNES, a PS1, or any of those retro consoles. My friends did, and I played it all the time when I was at their house, but I personally didn't own them. But then, sometime around 2001 or 2002, my parents bought me a GameCube for my birthday. And I gotta tell you, I played that thing all the time. Fast forward to 2024 and we have these little things called retro handhelds, and specifically the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro. You can fit the entire GameCube collection on this little device, with a big enough SD card, of course. I think for the entire GameCube collection you'll probably need like a terabyte of storage, but hey, they make micro SD cards that big nowadays. You can now play GameCube on the go whenever your little heart desires. And you can even play GameCube on a TV through the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro, like a home console. But how good is the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro GameCube experience? I mean, you could play GameCube on the Retroid Pocket 3 Plus, but at what cost? I mean, the performance for GameCube was alright, but you would significantly see some frame drops, even if it was slight. And if you're like me, slight frame drops, any frame drops, is kind of a nuisance. So, in this video, we're going to talk about the experience playing GameCube on the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro. I'll talk about the games that I played, and, you know, spoiler alert, it's much better. Let's get into the video. Alright, I'm going to go over my Dolphin settings real quick, just so you have a baseline to go off of. Whenever you open up Dolphin to add games, you just click this blue button here, Add Games, and then you're going to want to select your SD card, and then select the folder where you put all your GameCube games in. So for me, I have a folder called Games, and then a subfolder called GameCube. That's where all my GameCube games are. So you're going to hit Use this folder, Allow. Next, let's go to the settings. So for settings, first we're going to go under Config, General. Make sure you hit your fallback region as NTSC-U. Next, interface. You're going to want to select Panic Handlers as off. Now we're going to go back to graphic settings here. For the video backend, you're going to want to hit Vulkan. For shader compilation mode, you're going to want to hit Hybrid. Compile shaders before starting, yes. Under enhancements, internal resolution, I put this at 1080p. Now, technically the standard resolution for the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro is 720p, and that's all you need. But if you're plugging in with a USB-C dock, you can get 1080p on your TV. So that's why I have 1080p selected here. At the bottom here, widescreen hack, I have that turned off. Under hacks, all that really matters here is that VBI skip. I turned that on. And then finally, statistics. Put on whatever you want. I just put on FPS just so that I know that the game I'm playing is getting the right frame rate. And that's pretty much it. Those are your general settings that you want for Dolphin. If there's something specific you want to change per game, you can always long press on a game and then change the specific settings for that game. You may want to do this in certain cases. If you're curious about what settings to use for what game, go to the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro compatibility sheet. I'll link to that in the description. Alright, let's talk about the GameCube games I played. Some of these games are the classic GameCube games you'll find on everyone's top GameCube game list, but some of these are games that are honestly less well known, but were staples of my childhood. And I think it's my job to share them here. So maybe after watching this video, you'll find a new little gem for you to try out. To start off, I consider ATV Quad Power Racing 2 a less popular game, but nonetheless a game I think you should give a shot. What I like about this game is the mechanics. It's hard to describe, but I'll do my best. The ATVs in this game are rather bouncy and slidey. Yeah, that's a terrible explanation, but if you play it, you'll understand. There's a lot of forgiveness for landing awkwardly after a jump, and making turns is not as rigid as modern racers. Also, pulling off wheelies is super fun. Also, there's this freestyle mode where you can play for points in the time limit, but you could also set it to unlimited and just drive around and practice. As a kid, I spent so much time in here with my friends just messing around. There's this huge loop-de-loop in the middle, which is just hilarious to use on an ATV. Frame rate was great, staying at a constant 50 or above, except for the intro cutscene with the real-life ATV footage, but who cares about that? Occasionally, you'd get some texture loss, which is very evident in the race footage. I loved Harvest Moon Magical Melody growing up, mainly because it let you customize structures on your farm, giving you more freedom than previous titles. Plus, they added the ability to buy other plots of land, which I found really interesting. That being said, this is a very slow game, more slow than I remembered. I didn't play too much because I was kind of wanting to get to other titles, but if you enjoy a laid-back game and you just want to chill on the couch for a few hours watching TV while playing this game, I think you'd enjoy it. That being said, no graphical glitches or frame rate drops that I noticed playing it on the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro. Oh, 007 Nightfire, another game that's less well known but so extremely fun. The campaign is alright, just your classic 007 spy stuff, but the multiplayer, this is where it's at. With a creative mind, there are endless possibilities. First off, you'll want to unlock everything with this simple cheat code. This is so that you have all the multiplayer options without having to earn them through the campaign. Then, the fun begins. You see, you can play with up to 4 people plus 6 bots. On top of that, you have all kinds of different modes and all kinds of different maps. Then, on top of that, you have all kinds of settings to alter the multiplayer experience. Maybe you want to play with fully automatic weapons and realistic health? There's an option for that. Maybe you want to play with only handheld grenades and force everyone to spawn next to each other. There's a way to do that too. Maybe you want to add a little remote control helicopters and tanks. No problem. Capture the flag with only snipers, laser beam rifles, defend onslaughts of bots in demolition mode. So many choices. This game is freaking awesome to play with your friends. Oh, and it runs perfectly fine on the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro. Anyway, I'm a little obsessed with Nightfire. If you'd be interested in a video dedicated to this game and its many game modes, let me know in the comments below because I'd love to make that video. I'm not exaggerating when I say that Kirby Air Ride is my favorite Kirby game of all time, and it's technically a spin-off game. Again, this is most enjoyed as a multiplayer game. What it's most known for is the city trial mode. It's a very simple concept. You have 5 minutes to explore this little map, find upgrades, kill your opponents, and set yourself up for minigames that occur after each round. Simple, fun, chaotic. Oh, and on top of that, they have this whole achievements checklist for all of you completionists out there. This game runs perfectly smooth on the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro with up to 4 players. Sonic Adventure 2 Battle is what most people consider the best 3D Sonic game of all time, and for good reasons. The levels are fun, the voice acting is cliche as ever, and there's plenty of achievements to accomplish. Plus, they added Chow World, which is honestly could be a game in and of itself. As a kid, I've spent countless hours building the best chows to destroy my opponents in races and karate. Please bring back Chow World, we need a modern version of this. As far as I could tell, this game runs perfectly fine on the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro. I played a ton of Mario Superstar Baseball with my wife. It's perfect for 2 players and the gameplay is very addicting. The Mario sport games do a very good job of mixing the competitiveness you get from sports games while also making them super simple and easy to pick up. This game also suffered from some very minor graphical glitches with the players having flickering shadows and things like that, but otherwise gameplay is super smooth at 60 FPS. Tales of Symphonia. Not much to say about this game besides it's a fun RPG, and I recommend you play it. One thing that's fun is that you can play with your friends. They can control different characters during the battle scenes. Given that it's an RPG, and there's a lot of hours you can put into this game, it's really great that you can play on a handheld simply because you can play it, like in your bed or on the couch when you're relaxing. Runs very well on the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro, great frame rate, no issues found on my part. Star Fox Assault is also a really fun game for all you Star Fox fans out there. A couple notes I want to make about this. This is when I realized that it's uncomfortable to play a game like this on the console alone, where you have to rely a lot on the triggers as well as the joysticks. It's just uncomfortable without having a grip on the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro. Also, with this game, I would get minor visual glitches like this box appearing, but aside from that, the game ran perfectly fine. For Tony Hawk's Underground 2, there is some stuttering when you start it up, but other than that, the gameplay is fine once you actually start playing it. Also, a really fun game. There's nothing like just riding around on a skateboard and grinding rails and doing tricks and just falling lots and lots. I also played some Super Smash Bros. Melee with my wife because, hey, it's Super Smash Bros. You gotta play it. And it ran totally fine on the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro, playing with 2 players, docked to a TV. So when my wife and I first played Mario Kart Double Dash, we had this really annoying problem where you literally couldn't see anything during the race. Like, nothing at all. Turns out this is an issue with the video backend. You can't use Vulkan for Mario Kart Double Dash. You have to switch it to OpenGL for this game. Runs perfectly fine then, no frame rate issues. Now here's the question, should you buy a Retroid Pocket 4 Pro for GameCube emulation? I mean, it goes without question that the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro played pretty much every game I threw at it flawlessly. This is a huge improvement from the Retroid Pocket 3 Plus, which was kind of a hit or miss for GameCube. Plus, the ability to connect it to a USB-C dock and get a 1080p resolution on your TV is a plus. If you want a handheld for GameCube in particular, then yes, I do recommend the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro. I would say the biggest downside is that it's kind of uncomfortable in handheld mode, but that can be remedied with a grip. The minor visual glitches are also a nuisance, but again, they weren't affecting the gameplay and they weren't that common. If you want to learn more about the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro, I have other videos on this channel, and I'll be making my full in-depth review on the device very soon since I'm pretty much at 100 hours of gameplay on the device. Anyway, that's it for the video. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll catch you at the next one. Cheers.
Why did they like spawn in the circle? They got to it first, but we do. Honestly, guys, we just need to play them as a team, okay? How do you get in the helicopter?
I got a couple of them down and tested.